Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, managing partner with Levinson and Associates. And with us today, we have the Joseph Lochran, our marketing vice president. And then, of course, we have our special guest speaker and feature presenter, Carlin Snipes. So we have some great stuff to talk about as usual. What I'll do is start with a 100-foot overview just to give everyone a little insight on this hot new product rollout. So, I want to just take a step back and, if you think, 20 years back, 25 years back, depending on how long you've been in the business, the old life insurance story, was, yes, it's so important to protect your family, especially if you have children, and you need at least, at the minimum, a term policy. And back, years and years ago, it was mainly term or whole life, and those were pretty much the options. And then, of course, ART, which is, as you know, very, very expensive. And you typically would go out there and sell a death benefit, and you would say that to the breadwinner, husband or wife, that in case something happens to you, that your spouse would of course be the beneficiary, and they can use these monies to stay in their house and hopefully continue the same lifestyle, right? And make sure that your kids can go to college and have a few bucks for their first car, whatever the case is. And that is a benefit that the policy owner or insured, let's say, would never see. Okay, so it was kind of a hard sale in a lot of cases. And, you fast forward, then they had a standalone long-term care policy, which we consider living benefits, right? When the policy triggers, then the insured benefits by using those monies for long-term care facility, in-home nurse, whatever the case is. And so back then, of course, you had to sell and add value by explaining both types of products. And then, of course, you fast forward, and we had kind of a black eye in the standalone long-term care part of the industry, and we had a lot of companies that pulled out of the market, and rates were skyrocketing, and premiums were going up, and there was a lot of complaints, even some lawsuits. So you fast forward to today, and what some of the carriers have created, which in my opinion is awesome, is basically life insurance with these built-in living benefits and long-term care riders, all built in one nice policy. And now it's important because you can go out and you can build this story and show that you can sell a life insurance product to your consumer, right? And the client or prospect can benefit while they're still alive by triggering these LTC benefits. So there's tons of value here, okay? Especially if you go back and look at your existing book and people that you've sold permanent products or term products, and now you can go back and say, hey, Johnny, or hey, Shelly, did you hear about, the new type of insurance that pays while you're still alive? And that's a great spin. And you can replace some of that business, put them into the new kind of life insurance, okay? And now what Pac Life has done, okay, A+ rated Pac Life, they've been around a long time. They were formerly known as always working direct to the agents, okay? And as we know, just recently, in fact, this is a exclusive product. So they came out with an exclusive hybrid life LTC plan. Remember, that life insurance with living benefits included. And that's what we're going over today. So now you have a new story, a new product to talk about. Go back, visit your existing book, or let's say even new clients, life insurance that pays while you're still alive. Okay, and there's a bunch of unique options: short pay, multi-pay, Pac Life, A+ rated, been around a long, long time. Yes, now you being an independent broker, okay, can sell this product through Levinson, first time ever. So we are very, very excited about this. They also have their very competitive term insurance now that's available through PAC. So that we've had for, it's been about 6 months and 6 to 9 months, I would say. And now rolling out the new exclusive hybrid life LTC product. Very, very exciting stuff. Carlin's going to dive in a little deeper in about 5 minutes. Me and Joe are going to go over some new updates here at Levinson and Associates. Okay, real quick, we put together a contest for Levinson agents only for all life and annuity business. We're calling this the Top Closer, and it's basically, I like this kind of contest or incentive program because everybody starts fresh at the same place. Okay, so yes, we have some top of the table MDRT kind of agents, and yes, they're writing a ton of business, but the neat thing with this contest is everybody starts at zero, okay? And the bottom line is whoever closes the best with the most premium until December 31st of this year, so just a few months, you will get first place. That's the Top Closer, and that's an all-expense paid trip here to the expo. We're having it on the ocean in Deerfield Beach at our oceanfront resort. We pay for you and your spouse round trip. We give you gift cards, meals. Everything is taken care of. If you're a local agent, then we will give you the equivalent in a cash, maybe a check or gift card, whatever you prefer. Second place is going to be a $500 check. Okay, and you can use that however you want. And then third place is the brand new Apple iWatch. Now, the neat thing is, this is above and beyond, of course, the typical commissions, and most of our carriers now have fourth quarter incentives. So this is above and beyond all of that, okay, that we're paying for this out of our own pocket. So, I mean, with some of our new annuity products, our final expense, we have term, UL, IUL, all have some great incentives now. You can literally, let's say it's a $1,000 case. I mean, you can literally put thousands of dollars in your pocket from incentive programs. So great opportunity to, and the contest is starting now, okay? So you have until December 31st. Great opportunity, especially during holiday time, and a great way to start 2019 off in the right spot. Okay, moving forward, Joe is going to show you, now obviously today's webinar is all about living benefits and life insurance that pays well, you're still alive. So we have all of the hottest hybrid products, all of the standalone life products with long-term care riders. Now, none are as unique as what Carlin's going to talk about today, but it is important to know who still has what products remaining, what's guaranteed, and what hybrid products Levinson has to offer you. So Joe's going to tell you exactly where to go to find out all of this information, and then we're going to dive into the feature presentation. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So real quick here on the left-hand side, we have our LTC carriers listed. Of course, you can access those on carrylevinson.com. A lot of those even have a quote engine built into the website, so you can click through, run different options. On the right-hand side here, we have a lot of life carriers that have a true LTC rider, so companies like John Hancock, Protective, Prudential with the benefit access rider, a lot of great options to look at, especially if you're looking for a smaller death benefit amount. So when you reach out to our marketing team, they will be able to give you more information on both that standalone LTC product and those life products with those LTC riders that are built in. One other great thing I want to mention here is we have a specific section on carrylevinson.com. You'll see underneath the marketing tab at the top there in blue, it says long-term care. This is where you can access all the LTC material, living benefit material. We even have some really great consumer approved pieces, including emails and videos that are specifically designed to explain long-term care and what the costs are and how likely clients are to need that LTC policy. So I think really setting the stage and being able to tell clients why they might need this type of product is really half the battle. And one thing you'll see in a couple slides here is these agency automator email marketing campaigns that Bill will dive into really kind of help you not only get the right message to the client, but also how to find local prospects and kind of dive into the demographics for any type of region. So being able to generate the leads for the type of person who's most likely to buy this product is a really great tool to have as well. Also, one last thing here, On the linked benefit resource section, you'll see we have access to all the material that we're going to be covering today, specifically the Pac Life product. You'll have product resources, underwriting guides, questionnaires. There's even a really, really neat consumer video that was just rolled out. So all that's available, again, on carrielevinson.com, and you'll receive an email today with all the links to actually access everything we're covering directly through that platform.
Okay, good stuff, Joe. So what we're going to do is Carlin's going to take over from this point on, and then when she's done, she'll run for about 25 to 30 minutes. After she finishes up, I'm going to show you how you can start to market this product to the right demographic and at no charge by using some of our technology and tools and adding features and videos to your website, okay? Because let's all face it, you could have the best product in the world. If you have nobody to talk to, it's going to do us no good. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Carlin Snipes to go over the exclusive Premier Care product by Pac Life. Carlin, you there?
Yes, sir. Thanks so much, Bill. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time to learn more about Pacific Life and our Premier Care product. With that, I'm just going to jump right into just giving you a quick overview of the need when you're thinking about long-term care insurance. And I know you guys and gals have seen these stats 101 times, but I just want to remind you that 1 in 2 Americans over the age of 65 will need long-term care at some point in their future. They will need long-term care services. The other stat is not as commonly seen, but I do think it's a very interesting stat that most long-term care claims actually begin at age 80 or over, and that's typically 15 years or more into the consumer's retirement. So they've been living on their retirement income for 15 years, then they're going to get hit with this long-term care need that's going to be extremely expensive at that point in time. The thing when you think about long-term care is consumers and people like me alike get really, really confused about what's going on, what's available to you out there. There's elimination deductibles. How do I figure out pre-existing conditions? What providers are going to give me, going to help me with long-term care? So there's all kinds of confusion when it comes to long-term care, and consumers aren't really sure what to ask when it comes to long-term care. So when we're thinking about long-term care, what happens is when clients are considering their retirement planning, they're taking things into consideration. They're taking things like inflation, how that's going to impact my retirement, taxes. Do I have an emergency fund? What's my standard of living going to look like? But what often happens when consumers are doing retirement planning is they neglect to think about the rising cost of long-term care or how that's going to impact them in their retirement. So some common misconceptions when it comes to long-term care. One of the biggest ones I hear quite a bit is the government will take care of me either via Medicare or Medicaid, or I'll use my health insurance. And the thing when it comes to long-term care is no matter what you have, if you've self-insured, if you've bought a long-term care plan, or you have no plan at all, someone's going to take care of you. You definitely are going to be taken care of. The question is what is that going to look like? What's that consumer going to look like when they're being taken care of? They don't really know. They think they know what it's going to look like, but they're really unaware of how these plans work when it comes to long-term care. So some options to cover the long-term care risk. Obviously, Bill mentioned traditional long-term care route. That's one avenue. Another avenue that a lot of people choose is they just think they're going to self-insure. And the reason a lot of people choose to self-insure is they don't like the fact that if they bought a traditional long-term care policy, they're paying premiums into something that if they never need it and they pass away, they've just wasted those premiums. They've just flushed them down the drain. When I think about traditional long-term care policies, I think of them as more of you're renting to own or you're renting to get a benefit. So it's a renting policy versus an owning policy. So that's why a lot of consumers choose to self-insure because they, don't really think they're going to need it. So they think it's never going to happen to them. So they're never going to need it and they're just flushing that money down the drain. So again, why do most people like to self-insure? I mentioned they don't want to pay the premiums. They don't want them to just be flushed down the drain. They want to leave money to their loved ones. So, they want to have a little something left over for their loved ones. And the bigger one right there is they want to maintain control of those assets because they're not going to have control over that long-term care policy that they're renting. This way they've got the assets under their control and they can decide how they're going to use them. But the problem there is what's the risk? What's the risk to the consumer if they don't plan for long-term care? They don't understand how much that long-term care need could be potentially. And you're looking upwards in 20, 30 years from now, it could be $1.5 million a long-term care could happen to a consumer. And where's that $1.5 million going to come from to help cover them? So when you think about combo products that Bill has been talking about, like Pacific Life, there's a lot of options out there and they meet a variety of consumer needs. The first one is you're going to think about traditionally, is standalone long-term care insurance. The problem with standalone long-term care insurance, again, is if you never need it, you pass away, then it's just that money has gone away. You've just flushed that money down the drain. So that's one thing, but it is going to protect against the risk for long-term care, definitely. You have life insurance out there as well, and some people, can do they do different things with life insurance. You can do chronic illness riders added to life insurance, so you can access a life insurance policy's benefits for chronic illness. You could also look at traditional long-term care riders, and what I mean by that is true long-term care riders that are on life insurance policies. And the other two options I want you to think about today is our Premier Care product, which is an asset-based long-term care policy that can be single-paid, so you just dump in one single payment, you can pay it up that way, or it can be multi-paid, anywhere from 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The client can choose how they want to pay for this product. And this product they will own, and once they've paid for it in full, there's no risk in the future of rate increases like they have with traditional long-term care, because it's paid up in full, so they don't have to worry about the carrier ever coming back to them and saying, you know what, it's going to cost you a little bit more money, the premiums are going to go up. Once they've paid for this, either with the multi-pay or the single pay, and it's paid in full, they never have to worry about that risk going forward. Also, these products have a death benefit. So if they never need it for long-term care and they pass away, there's going to be a death benefit payable to their heirs that's going to be income tax-free to those heirs. So it's a lot of advantages if you think about the combo products out there. So let's just walk through just a really high-level case study. We're going to look at Jay and Susie. They've been married for 35 years. They do own a traditional long-term care policy. They were smart. They went out and bought that policy. They bought it for nursing home care only. Susie unfortunately developed Alzheimer's 4 years after they purchased the policy. And Jay's really just not sure how to use the benefits on this policy. He's very confused when it comes to the policy. He's not used to, he's used to things like auto insurance and how easy it is to work with them and how the care is coordinated, the service is coordinated. He's not getting that with this policy. So he's got to figure out how to navigate this world of long-term care that he's never been exposed to before. So long-term care insurance can definitely help cover the cost, but it can't necessarily always help you when it comes to things like navigating the care coordination, figuring out what's the best thing to do as a client. So a potential better way to consider that is products like our Premier Care product, which does offer access to licensed healthcare practitioners who can help them navigate. It's called care coordination, and when they buy the policy, that is built into the policy, so they automatically get this care coordination when they purchase the policy. And it's really simple. It's a concierge level support. We'll develop a plan of care with the client. We'll help them initiate the claim, and we'll help manage the care. It's really simple. The client, all they have to do is call this 800 number, give the insured's name, and give the policy number, and they'll start running with that and help them to figure out how to use this plan of care, how to best suit, best give the benefit to the impaired individual. What I like about this is, what happens is the person that's left in this situation, it was Jay, right? Jay was the one over control of the policy. He's the one, he doesn't know what to do. He can step back. He doesn't have to develop this plan of care. He's got assistance with this policy, and he can step back, and instead of being the provider, giving that care provider, he can be more of a care manager for his wife. So when you think about the concierge level service, these are the things that they do. As I mentioned, they initiate the claims process, which they explain the policy benefits, provide guidance with the forms, explore payment options. The big one there is they develop that plan of care, because most people have no idea what to do when it comes to the situation. They've never lived through it in the past. They don't know who to contact. So they'll help them locate support services, provide caregiver training, things like that, and just help them build that plan of care for that client. As well as lastly, manage that care, monitor the needs over time as they change, and help them promptly close the claims upon recovery. So let's look at a counter story to Jay and Susie. We've got Eric and Nancy here, and Eric actually purchased a Pacific Life policy. He purchased it at age 50. At age 80, he suffered a stroke, and he did require long-term care. Nancy was able to pick up the phone, dial that 800 number that I mentioned, provide Eric's name, give the policy number, and they were able to confirm his eligibility, help her understand the benefits of the policy, develop that plan of care for him, and help her file and manage the claims and adjust the plan of care as needed. So let's look at Pacific Life Choice Suite. I want to talk a little bit about that in our time today. This product is a whole life policy. And as Bill mentioned, this Pacific Life has been around for a very long time. Actually, this year is their 150th year anniversary of the company. This is a mutual company, if you didn't know that, and it's very important to me that it's a mutual company because they care about their policyholders. That's who they're focused on, is their policyholders. They're not focused on shareholders. So you don't have to worry about things changing every quarter because a shareholder earnings call happened and they said we need to change things. So this product has been around since 2012. It was very limited on who could get access to it. So I'm thrilled that Levinson and Associates can provide you all access to the product today. So more than 90% of your clients today are self-insuring against that risk of long-term care. And what we want to talk about is options that you should consider, that you could talk to your client about when it comes to long-term care. And one of those options obviously is Premier Care Choice that we want to talk about. So with Premier Care Choice, it's really, really simple. Live, quit, or die, there's an option, there's a benefit to the client. If the client lives a long life and they need long-term care, they're going to get greater funds available for long-term care because they purchased this policy versus just leaving it in a rainy day fund. If they change their mind and they decide, you know what, I don't want to keep this policy anymore, I'm going to quit this policy, we've got return of premium features. And one of the ones that we have is 100% return of premium from day one. No other carrier has that in these types of policies today. We also have a vesting schedule for return of premium if they'd rather choose that, and they can wait. They won't get their entire return of premium until the 15th year of the policy. But so they have options when it comes to the return of premium. Our number one selling product is the 100% return of premium from day one because it helps clients feel really, really comfortable with the product. And lastly, if they pass away and they never needed the policy for long-term care, there's a death benefit paid to their beneficiaries. So there's going to be a win-win-win out of this policy. If they need long-term care, they're going to get those benefits. If they change their mind, they're going to get their premium back. And if they pass away and never needed that long-term care, their heirs are going to get a life insurance benefit. So it's a really simple product. So let's think about it this way. We've got another client here who is self-insuring for the long-term care risk, and she's actually set aside a CD to cover her long-term care. So it's $100,000 she has today in a CD. And this is what's going to happen. If she lives a long life and needs long-term care, she's going to have $100,000 available for long-term care. If she decides she doesn't need it anymore, she can take that $100,000 out of that CD. And lastly, if she passes away, there's $100,000 going to be payable to her heirs, but it's going to be taxable. Any earnings that she had in that CD are going to be taxable. So let's look at if she were to take that $100,000 and reposition it into the Pacific Life Premier Care Choice 100 product. So, and if you've probably heard this analogy, it's like taking money out of your left pocket and putting it in your right pocket. You're just moving it from one place to the other. So she purchases this product. At day one, she has $346,000 available for long-term care should she need long-term care. By the time she reaches the age of 80, she'll have just over $647,000 available for long-term care. So she's actually taken that $100,000 and grown it by 6 times. So now she has 6 times the money available to her for long-term care. If she decides, you know what, I don't want this policy anymore, she'll get her $100,000 back. That $100,000 premium that she put into the policy, she'll get that back. And then lastly, if she passes away and never needed it for long-term care, there's going to be a $100,000 death benefit payable to her heirs. So it's very simple when you think about this product. Live, quit, or die. These are the options. As I mentioned earlier, if the client lives a long life, they have options when it comes to the premium. They can either single premium pay this policy or multi-pay this policy. They can pay it 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. So there's a lot of options. I think actually our product is the second longest payment option out there when it comes to asset-based long-term care. When you look at the quit bucket, again, that's the return of premium feature. The client can choose 100% of return of premium from day one, or they can choose that vesting schedule. What happens is if you choose the 100% from day one, the long-term care benefit is going to be slightly less because there's a cost for that 100% return of premium. If you choose the vesting schedule, the long-term care benefit is going to be a little bit higher. I will let you know about 2/3 of our policies that we sell today are 100% ROP from day one. And lastly, of course, we've touched on this. If the clients were to pass away, there's that long-term care, there's that life insurance benefit that's payable to their heirs. We do have a very simplified process. It's a simplified underwriting process. There is a telephone interview to access the product. It's between 45 minutes and 60 minutes, but it's a very easy process. Just to give you some high-level information about Premier Care. As I mentioned, it is a whole life policy. The coverage of long-term care benefits, you have a life policy which provides the base coverage. You also have an acceleration of benefits rider built into it, as well as an extension of benefits rider. We do offer benefit periods out to 8 years, which I really think is important because the average length of claim for an Alzheimer's patient is 8 years. So you can choose between 5 years of benefit all the way up to 8 years of benefit. Our sweet spot from a pricing standpoint is 7 years. Another feature that's really unique about Premier Care that nobody else has, we offer reimbursement or indemnity to the client. And so they can make the choice. They don't have to do reimbursement. They don't have to do an indemnity. They can choose which one they want. And they don't have to choose until the point of claim, which I think is very important. Because today the client might say, you know what, I have to have indemnity when it comes to this policy. I want to be able to get cash. I have to have indemnity. 20 years down the road when they go on claim and their spouse is looking at the policy and they look at the discount that's happening to the long-term care benefits At that point in time, they might think, you know what, reimbursement's a better option, and they can choose reimbursement. Once they go on claim and choose reimbursement or indemnity, they're locked into that benefit pattern. So whichever one they choose, that's the one they're going to get from there on out. But they do not have to choose until the point of claim. And as I mentioned, the return of premium features with 100%. We also have the vesting schedule that they can get up to 100% within 15 years. We have multiple premium durations. On the 100-year product, it's 1, 5, or 10. On our max product, it's 1, 5, 10, 15, or 20. Waiver of premium, this is unique as well, is built into the policy. And if they go on claim, automatically that premium is waived. So that's a huge thing. So a lot of the other carriers that offer similar policies charge you for that waiver of premium. Face amount is a minimum face amount of $60,000, and we do have a high band discount at $200,000 in face. Another feature that's pretty neat is the reduced paid up option. So if the client, let's say they did a 10-year policy and they were 5 years into it and they decided they didn't want to pay anymore, but they wanted to keep the policy, we'll automatically make that policy a reduced paid up policy, so they won't have to pay any more premiums. They won't get the original benefit that they had based on the 10 pay, but they will get a benefit out of the policy. We do have inflation options with 0. We can do 0, 3% simple, 5% simple, and 5% compound. Issue ages on the policy for the single pay are 30 to 75. Multi-pay is 30 to 80, and we use age last birthday. And we don't have a unisex option. We have a male or female rate. We have non-smoker or smoker, and we do accept up to table D. And it's an accept or reject when it comes to this policy. Also, we do have a discount for couples, so they will get a discount for that. And as I mentioned earlier, we have simplified underwriting when it comes to that. We will ask for an APS in certain ages, 50 and above. We will go after that APS, but we do use that telephone interview, an MIV check, pharmacy database check, as well as a cognitive test for those 55 and over. And the policy is fully guaranteed. With that, I think I'll hand it back over to Bill, see if we had any questions during this presentation.
Yeah, that was excellent. We actually have a closed line just because the number of attendees. Do you have, Carlin, was that everything, or do you have anything else that you want to add?
That was everything for Premier Care. The other things that I wanted to touch on is we did announce a reprice on our PL Promise term on Monday, so please take a look at that. We're going to be extremely competitive there, ages 30 to 70. The other thing I'd like to mention is we did roll out a producer incentive that started in September. So for every 3 applications that you submit and place by February, you'll get additional $300. It's a one-time deal. So if you submit and place 3 applications that go in force, we'll give you an additional $300 on your first 3 applications.
Well, we love incentives, so
yeah.
That's
and
great
the
to
last
hear.
thing I'll mention. Yeah, the last thing I'll mention is we will be rolling out a GUL product in December, so look for that, more to come on that. But it's going to go down to a minimum face amount of $25,000, and it's going to be a very competitive product. So more to come on that in the future.
Great. Good stuff. Yeah, and like I said, this is the first time ever all of us in the independent space had full access to Pac Life. So this is big, big news. Also, don't forget our cash for contracting incentive. As you know, we'll match or beat your existing grid, plus you'll get an extra $100 to $400 cash with your first application. So take advantage of that. I'm going to talk I'm going to give you a few tips on marketing and show you some neat stuff that you can do to get the message out there for this kind of product. I also want to mention, you know, with Pac Life's story, okay, they're around a long, long time, A+ rated. Now you can basically go direct through Levinson, okay? You don't have to worry about that MLM, you know, type of marketing companies where you're, you know, 10 levels down, and by the time you get your commissions, you know, the piece of the pie was taken out, you know, 8 times or 10 times. So take advantage of this stuff, you know, service-wise, commissions-wise. It makes a huge difference, okay? If you're working with Levinson, you're going direct to the carriers, which is great. Even if you have a few contracts outside of Levinson, just make sure that you're direct with an IMO and you're not through a GA or MGA or any of those MLM type of hierarchies. I don't want to call it a scam, but there's just so many layers taken out, and we hear these stories all the time from the agents, where they were 10 levels behind and they had no idea, and they've been working like this for 10 years. And so just ask the right question is the bottom line. So with this product, 100% return of premium day one. That within itself is such a great story to tell, because your consumer has nothing to lose. That's a win-win, okay? So get this message out. And I feel that, with technology and social media and even your smartphone these days, it's all free resources, okay? And gives you an opportunity to sit down tonight, at the kitchen table with your spouse and say, honey, hold my smartphone. I'm going to talk about this new long-term care hybrid product that I learned about today. And you take that video, let's say it's a minute long, and you post it on your social media pages, on your website, okay, on your Instagram, Facebook. It's so important, okay? If you're using our tools, we have our Agency Automator tool. That's a no-brainer. This is all free marketing and advertising for you and your business. It's so important, okay? I can't stress it enough. Now, with Agency Automator, you get 1,000 prospects every month. If you're active with us, this is free, okay? And you can go in, okay, and simply type into the criteria, hey, I want to find, young families between the ages of 30 and 50 and with a certain household income in this zip code. And the system will give you 1,000 names, numbers, emails, and addresses so you could go market your message to, right? So now you have this new idea with this LTC hybrid type product. Now you're going to get it in the right hands. You can even use our virtual live assistant, which will call all of these 1,000 prospects for you to get your message out. That's the name of the game, and it's very inexpensive. The virtual assistant is a co-op marketing plan, so we actually pay about half of the cost, so it's very inexpensive. I'm going to just go over those. If you look at the Agency Automator logo in front of you in the top left corner, I'm going to go over each circle there, each finger, so you understand what this is about. And then I'm going to talk about, just for a minute, we have a new VIP servicing plan, okay? So for those of you who maybe aren't that savvy with technology, or maybe you just don't have the time, or you want to focus on, your Starbucks meetings and selling over the phone or networking, fine, okay? This person will do everything for you. So everything that I just mentioned with, making the video and posting it and calling all your prospects. So now you can literally flip a switch and everything will be done for you, if that's better for you, okay? Or always keep in mind, we have every day now live training webinars, okay? Each day we feature a different tool, and that's a good opportunity for you to jump in, ask questions, and that will make sure that we get you up to speed with that particular tool, and you're comfortable, you're using it, and you're off to the races. So whichever route you want to go, 1, do it yourself, 2, have someone do everything for you, no problem, okay? And I'll give you the quick overview right now. So make sure you're taking some notes, write down questions, comments, feedback. We want to hear from you after the call, especially if there was anything that you were confused about, because we're going pretty quick today. Okay, so Agency Automator, that's your prospecting tool. I just went over that. And then keep in mind, we have a library, a marketing library that you can pick from, different emails, different mailers, different ads, okay, that we have for almost every product or concept that you can e-blast or mail or all the above, so you can start to get your name out there, especially if you're a health insurance agent and you're working, open enrollment, or, let's say major med, whatever the case is, you should be cross-selling all of these great products. Bring this up with every sale. It's so important. So anyway, I'm going to keep going here. The first leg coming out about 9 o'clock is the CRM tool. Now, the CRM tool and the free website builder, complimentary, okay? If you're active with us, that's free. So right off the bat, you have your storefront website, okay, which has all of the buttons. You can customize everything. It has life insurance calculators. It has DI calculators, quote engines, lead capture. It's all built into your free website builder. And then your CRM tool allows you to email and keep your name in front of all of your clients and prospects, okay? Moving forward, there is the website builder, which I just touched on. That is your brick and mortar, okay? That is, I can't stress it enough how important it is that you have not just a website, but that it looks professional, okay? Especially the younger generation, the millennials. The second they meet you or hear about you, what are they going to do? They're going to run a Google search. They want to know, who is this guy, Bill Levinson, who's telling me he's the best and his agency is the best. So they're going to click and they're going to find you. And if you're not out there, guess what? They're going elsewhere. I promise you. Because these days, if you don't have an online presence or a website, then you're falling backwards, okay? I don't care how many times you made MDRT status. It doesn't matter anymore. It's a new ball game, okay? When you hear of companies like Sears and Toys R Us filing for bankruptcy, things are changing, okay? It's happening, like it or not. And we're going to help you play defense here. Okay, about 12 o'clock, Agency Automator Plus. Now, that is a database full of agents. So if you want to get into recruiting and building your own downline by leveraging all of our tools and technology, you can do that as well. You can focus on your zip code, city, county, state, or half the country if you wanted to. We literally have almost 1 million licensed agents and reps in that database that you can access. The virtual assistant, that's that live assistant there 24/7. They will call all your clients and neighbors and friends to talk about a seminar or webinar that you're having. Maybe you want to host a webinar or seminar on college planning and funding by using our free SAGE scholarship program. The virtual assistant will call everyone in your database and invite them to the webinar or seminar and give them a $500 gift card just for attending. Okay, think about the opportunities here. AssureWorks is about 3 o'clock there. That's the last little circle in that infographic. Now, that is, think of Amazon. That's like Amazon for insurance agents, okay, literally. And think about it like this. Anyone in your zip code or a zip code that you choose that goes online and they search about investing or insurance products or long-term care or retirement savings, guess what? When they go online, if they're in that zip code that you choose, they're going to see your ad pop up. Hey, there's Bill Levinson, the local Coral Springs long-term care insurance agent. And they're going to hopefully be pushed over the edge and call you or click through to your website to make an appointment, okay? That's how you need to think of this. Then there's part 2 is the sphere. That's part 2 of AssureWorks, and the way that works, you can upload up to 1,000 of your friends, neighbors, clients, church buddies, temple friends, whatever, all the above, right? And then anytime they go online on ESPN or Amazon or search engines, they're going to see your ad and picture pop up in the left bottom corner of the screen. Okay, so if you brought up insurance to them at one time or another, hopefully that will give them the extra push to click the button to call Bill Levinson to make the appointment or buy the product. Okay, that's online marketing, and you have to, okay, I promise, 10 years from now, you can remember I said this. If you're not using online marketing at any capacity, you're going to be out of business, filing bankruptcy, or sliding backwards, okay? You have to get started. I'm not saying you have to use everything we have, but at the minimum, have a website and a business Facebook account, something. Make sure you have an online presence. I can't stress it enough. Okay, moving forward, I'm going to talk kind of quick here, and again, just jot down anything that is relevant or you would like us to dive in further after the webinar. Upcoming agent training events. So everything I just went over, if you want to get a little more comfortable with any of those platforms, every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at 2 p.m., we have these live demos where you can register and you can listen just like you are now. Talk all about AssureWorks or the website builder platform or our CRM tool or the prospecting and agent recruiting tool. Okay, so you can go on carrielevinson.com. We have a calendar there, and you can literally just click whichever webinar you want to register for. You can do it 20 times if you want. It's totally up to you, but the goal is we want to make sure that you are comfortable. Okay, on the bottom there, October 25th, North American is rolling out a new living benefit term rider option on some of their products. Make sure you're on that call if you're in this space. And you know, as important as social media marketing is or online marketing, you know, that's how important living benefit life insurance is these days, okay? Because you remember what happened with standalone long-term care. You remember what happened with ULs that weren't guaranteed 20 years ago, all the lawsuits, right? So this is the new kind of insurance, and just make sure that you're comfortable. Now, these are our live South Florida meetings. If you want to just make a note here, October 26th, we're going to be in Boca talking all about creating lifetime retirement income. We're giving out 2 free hours of CE credit to everybody that attends our meeting. On the right side, November 16th, we're going to talk about 4 national underwriting niches and solutions. Also, we're launching a new indexed UL product from Transamerica. So that's going to be a great day. November 16th, 9 a.m. We'll bring in breakfast for everyone, and we'll talk for a couple hours, and then we'll break. Okay, moving forward here, just about done. This is a day I want you to write down right now. I'm watching all of you, so write down this date. May 10th, 2019 is our annual Agent Expo. We're expecting over 300 agents and GAs from all over the country. This will be our biggest one to date. Every year these grow by about 20%. We just confirmed our keynote speaker, Joe Ross. Now, he is the best insurance trainer in the industry, hands down, bar none. If you don't agree, okay, if you are there at our expo on May 10th, and I want you to come see me face to face, because I'll be standing there, and if you say, Bill, you know what, this guy is not what you cracked him up to be, okay, I promise you I'll pay for your weekend stay at our oceanfront resort there that weekend. That's how strong I feel about Joe Ross. I promise you. He will deliver. The guy is insane. So he'll be live, okay, at the expo. And then, great news, he also promised us he's going to do a launch training webinar for all of our agents. So you don't have to come down to South Florida. Just log in like you are now on November 15th, 2 p.m. Eastern time. That is going to be an awesome webinar. You'll get a little taste of Joe Ross. Of course, there's nothing like seeing them live, but the live webinar will be also very, very good for everybody. I promise you will walk away with some great nuggets of information that will help your business. So, you know, listen, you know, we put together all of these resources and technology and time and try to bring the best keynotes. And obviously, I try my best to make sure that we teach our agents to go out there and market and be successful and grow. And it's our job to deliver the best products and carriers and technology that is available for any insurance agent. If you're a career agent, if you're with us, if you're not, it doesn't make a difference. If we find a new product or tool or technology that's going to help you grow, I'll be the first one to share this with you. Okay, now this is our Positive Tuesday quote. I'm going to end with this. It's always good to end on a positive, high energy note, because we want everybody to walk away from today's webinar, bring up this new sales concept to make some more sales. It's never too late to make changes, innovate, and keep moving forward. Toys R Us, Yellow Cab, and Blockbuster never did. You can also add Sears Roebuck to that list. They just filed for bankruptcy last week. So make sure that you're one step ahead of your competitors. And if there's a new process or product or technology that's available, take the time, understand it, okay? And if it makes sense, use it. If it doesn't, that's okay. But at least take the time to know what's going on and what this is about. So important to grow your business. With that said, have a great rest of the week, a good weekend, and great selling. Take care.